controlling the majority of the game. But the reality is we got some really talented guys on our team, and we've got guys that believe in this program, believe in this place, and believe in each other, believe in themselves. And these two guys sit next to me. We always talk about it. Players make plays, and that's what March is all about. And these two guys, Kate Dotson, David Tavares making 2 huge threes, Xavier Amos, having to play as many minutes as he had to tonight, toughing it out. So it's all about the team. It's all about the players. And these are the guys that deserve all the credit for sticking with it all year and going out there and making plays when they need their team needed them most.
Thanks, Coach. Open up for questions for Miles and Joshua, right here.
Sean Gervais, mid-major basketball. Josh, you had a season-high 26 tonight. Didn't miss a shot in the second half. What was working for you in the second half, and what did you see from Richmond?
I feel like we all game plan the same, so we game plan pretty well. So I already know what to expect, the shots and everything. So we just going out there being confident, making shots.
Joshua or Miles, either of you guys. Richmond you guys were down 12 with about 12 minutes left to go there. What was kind of the feeling on the bench, and how were you guys able to kind of keep the good vibes going in that case to come back from that and get this big win for you?
I feel like we just started the game off slow. I feel like we came out slow and dead with no energy, and I feel like in the second half we started off with more energy. We moved faster pace and everything. I feel like that's what really changed it. I feel like they couldn't compete with us if we upped our pace and energy. And that's what we did, and then we came out with the dub.
Dave Hamley of Talking Points for Miles and Joshua Joseph. In this game, in the midst of the season, kind of disappointing. You go down by double digits in the second half, and what could be the last game of the season. I guess, what was the mindset going into it that led you to being able to stop Richmond for those last 4 minutes and really put the clamps down? Was there anything game plan wise, or was it just straight at it?
I feel like our response to adversity is like a big thing for us. I feel like sometimes when we start down, I feel like we want to come back and still compete and still win in moments like that. And we're in big moments now. I just want to go home. So I feel like in that situation, it's like, oh yeah, we don't want to go home. Yeah, we want to keep on winning, try to make it to the tournament still, even though our record really doesn't reflect that. But I mean, we still have a chance to win the whole thing if we keep on going like this.
Josh, anything to add?
Sure. Piggyback off what he said. Just keep fighting. Game by game. So yeah, we're gonna celebrate for 1 hour and then on to the next game.
Hi guys, Andy Rivas with the Loyola Phoenix. I just wanted to ask, so we play Davidson next. Obviously you just said you got an hour of the celebration before you guys are going to start locking in for the next game. You guys played Davidson twice already. How do you take the 2 losses that you picked up from Davidson and kind of prepare for this next game you guys got?
It's hard to beat a team 3 times, so we're just going to watch them on mistakes. Our coach has set up a pretty good game plan every game, so just executing the game plan when they're confident.
I feel like we know what it is with Davidson. We played them twice already. I feel like there's some type of bad blood between us or something like that. I don't know. But I feel like if we go out there and we go compete with them, I feel like we come out with the dub tomorrow.
Any more questions for guys? Nope. Thank you, fellas. Questions for Coach Valentine?
Luka Cherich from Rambo Sports Locker. Coach Valentine, during your pregame speech, first of all, congratulations on an amazing win. And second of all, during your pregame speech during the pep rally, you talked about the unassuming victories that Loyola is prone to in tournament play. How does this one feel? And what did that timeout at the beginning of the second half mean for the team and your momentum?
This is a great win for this group in particular. I think that this just, goes to show, winning 3 of our last 4. There's a lot of teams, that wouldn't do what these guys did to end the year. And, there was no confidence lost in their abilities from our coaching staff and our offices, and there was no confidence lost from these guys and the opportunity or them thinking that they weren't going to be a good team or continue to win games. These guys the whole year have thought that they were good, and so I think that just shows that. I think it shows that there's still a lot of pride within the program. You see guys going like this, One day, it was actually Sheldon was back. We were playing St. Louis at home, and Sheldon was and I'm like, last year, Brady Norris, Sheldon, like you see those guys throwing it up, and the pride that comes with wearing the Loyola jersey, not worrying about the name on the back, and I think they've really bought into it. You've seen them doing that out there on the floor the last few games, so that's been great to see. And then the timeout at the beginning of the second half was, they had, Richmond's like 325 in KenPom in offensive rebounding. And they started off and they had 4 offensive rebounds before I called that timeout. And it's like, guys, you guys have to play harder. It's you have to play to win. Like they're playing to win harder than you are. We're just out there, we're competing, we're trying to win. These guys were trying to win the whole time. It was just, we were being gentle, we were trying to like lose ourselves in the game. And it's like, in these games in March, you gotta go get it. And so that's what we talked about in that timeout.
Joe Szymanski, Giant Killer, coach. Just looking back throughout this whole season, you're obviously getting to continue it tomorrow, but you talk about keeping the pride going in this program. It's been a tough year for you guys, not just the losses, but the many injuries and the injury issues you guys have dealt with. How has that been for not just you, but for your staff as a whole, trying to keep that togetherness in the room, trying to keep that pride going, and now getting to this point and winning the game here at the A10 tournament?
Yeah, I think it can be obviously tough and challenging. I think what's been the best part about these guys is we knew this coming into the year. These guys are extremely optimistic. We use a company profile. Their founder, Chad Brown, he comes and does a presentation for the team every September. We get to, he calls it under the hood, but we get to learn about each other a little bit better and, how to communicate with people and all that. But one of the biggest themes for the group was that this group was going to be overly optimistic. And so there's some times when, you need to feel miserable to get out of it. But I think what we tried to do as coaches was keep the good energy, keep the good vibes going. Obviously, we hold these guys very accountable, and we demand a lot from them. But at the same time, like if we're in a meeting room or we're on a bus or we're in a plane, like we're gonna enjoy it and we're gonna have fun. Like everybody, I know there's some coaches that I've even been around that when you lose one game, they want everybody to be miserable to figure it out. And that's one way of thinking. But I think this group has stayed positive because they're just internally so optimistic. So I think that's shown and obviously showcasing with us winning 3 of our last 4.
Zach Joaquin, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Coach, congratulations on the win. You already alluded to it, but 36-25 edge on the glass. How key was that in flipping this game in the second half?
Yeah, it was huge. I think Josh had a couple of really big ones, even like the one I think he got fouled on at the on the back cut, but Josh came up with that one and found, who was that? Was that Will? No, he found Cade for a 3. And then off the free throw, put back, like those were really key. We only had 6 offensive rebounds, but 7 second chance points were huge. And then I think keeping those guys off of the glass, like, obviously Richmond takes a lot of threes. They ended up taking, 32 of their 59 shots were from 3. And like early in the second half, we were contesting and everybody was running in, and we knew, Richmond shoots 38% of their shots from 3. So like we talked about it, long shots, long rebounds. And like the guy that was contesting wasn't coming back in. You saw Kate Dotson contest, come back in and get like 2 long rebounds in the second half. So I just thought we did a better job contesting, getting back in and understanding what their shot diet was.
Coach, you talked about what the vibes are and riding the vibes when they're high. With the quick turnaround that we've got yet tomorrow, what can you say if a win like this does for your program going into the game?
Yeah, I told these guys, and Josh said it, I said, I looked at my watch, it was 4:10. It's not 4:25 now. I told them they got till 5:15 to celebrate this. And then after that, it switches and it's 0-0. And, you got to think that way in tournament to not come out tomorrow and not have the intensity that's needed to win the game. The reality is Davidson's beat us twice, and we have to come out with the mindset of trying to go take a win. And we can't have the same mindset we had today, because Davidson has really pumped us out, honestly, in the 2 games that they've played us. So we got to understand that. We'll watch a rewind of it tonight, and then tomorrow morning we got we play at night tomorrow, right? I mean, look at the bracket, 1 game at a time, baby. Yeah, we play tomorrow night, so a long day of prep tomorrow, and come out, ready to go.
Justin Long, USA Sports. Coach, a couple questions. When you talk about how your team had been analyzed before the season and being overly optimistic, have you ever had a team classified as overly optimistic, or how you're, if not, was this something that you try to find certain guys that kind of fit the
There's certain things that you try to look for. And he actually, Chad, this is a new part of his assessment, so we didn't actually have it until with the team in the fall. But I think understanding your team is something that's super important, and that's something that we really try to do with our guys is really understand them as people, and understand them and try to treat them as people, and not just like Josh is out there playing for me. I told him I finally got him to come and play here for me, and I'm like, I've said to him multiple times this year, just imagine what you would have been if, not that we don't got time to do it still, but if we could have been here with this relationship and bond for 4 years, what that could look like.
And also, what do you see out of your team on the floor, like particularly the last few games? Is there a looseness? With everything they've gone through, it's been easy, like even though they were optimistic to kind of show some struggles on the floor, but you guys persevered and done better lately. What are you seeing out of your guys on the floor and how they react to situations?
I think that it's been like essentially once Kamani, shut it down. I mean, obviously J-Mo was with us for a little bit, but like essentially once he shut it down, we've kind of known who we're going to have available. Obviously Caleb Reese got hurt, but like we kind of so it's been easier for us to prepare, because when we've been having and dealing with the day-to-day, it's like you don't overly want to change the way that you play. To fit if you're going to end up switching that, if that makes sense from a coaching standpoint. So it's like the in and out of like obviously last year when we had the guys get injured right away, like we kind of switched last year. We were playing, remember, Jalen, Deloach, and Miles together. Like we were trying to, but then once those guys came back, then we were playing a different way with Kamani's point guard. And then once we got used to that, then we, kind of took off. And I think for us, we've always kind of found a way in a way, but I think what is different about this year than any other year is just the inconsistency of player availability. And so I think it's really, obviously there's no excuse at all, and you got to try to find a way to win no matter who's out there. And these guys will tell you, I've just told these guys all year, I don't care who's out there on the floor, I feel like we can go out there and win and compete. And we've shown that at times this year. But I think that we've just had like a consistent people together, if that makes sense. Like the availability of players has kind of been here for about 2 or 3 weeks, other than Caleb Reese, and so that's allowed us with practice time to allow us to kind of find what makes us successful. I think like the jump zone defenses have been good for us. We played the I-3 versus St. Louis. We've been playing a lot of 2-3 zone. We played some possessions tonight. I think that slows people down, and then we've kind of been walking the ball up the floor a little bit, running more set actions. Obviously, in the second half, we kind of let them go a little bit because their pressure was bothering that, and so we started letting them go, kind of playing like how we were playing early this year. And Cade Dotson did a really good job playing a pick and roll.
One last question.
I have one more. Coach, going into today's game, how much of an emphasis do you have on shutting down A.J. Lopez?
I think a big emphasis. We knew he had 23 on us in the first game. I think there was like more hand activity on his drives. We were digging and raking. We were in our shell a little bit more. I know he had those 2 fouls in the first half. I mean, I still think AJ's a really good player, and he's hard to guard. He's so slippery. He's got all those fakes and pivots in the paint. Really obviously knows how to get fouled, and I know he's got a really bright, I think this is last year, right? I think he's got a really bright professional career for him.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.